Retroid Pocket 6 is an excellent device. The price is still good for a handheld like this. The size is small enough to fit right in your pocket. And even with the RAM limitation, it still holds up really well. But maybe you're not a fan of that same generic design most Retroid and Ayn handhelds are going with these days, or maybe your use case is a bit different, and you want something a little more out of your device. So if you're stuck choosing between the Retroid Pocket 6 and Ayn Thor, this should help you decide a bit easier. Both are using the same chip, so you would expect similar performance. The only difference you are going to notice is due to RAM options Ayn Thor has. But depending on your use case, this difference may feel minor. For most retro stuff up to PS2, there is no difference. Retroid Pocket 6 is the simpler device. It's smaller, lighter, and just easier to carry around. You pick it up, launch a game, and most retro games work without any effort. Because of the size and shape, it's also more comfortable for longer sessions. It's best if you just want a simple but capable device that you can carry in your pocket without even noticing. Ayn Thor doesn't feel like that. Like Retroid Pocket 6, it's not hard to use, but it feels more like a specific kind of device. That dual screen setup changes how you use it. For some things, it's amazing. For others, it takes a bit of getting used to. Where the Ayn Thor shines is in anything that takes advantage of those two screens. Nintendo DS games, multitasking, even keeping something open while you play, it just feels natural here. In that space, it's easily one of the best handhelds at this price. I would say it's the only dual-screen handheld that makes sense now. And even outside of that, the Ayn Thor still does better than Retroid Pocket 6 in heavy emulation. And this mostly comes down to RAM. Right now, the Retroid Pocket 6 is locked to 8 GB. That's fine for lighter stuff, but once you try heavier games or Windows emulation, it starts to hit limits. You might see stutters or the game just doesn't behave the way you want. But if you go for the Ayn Thor Pro model, it will have more room to handle those heavier tasks. Same chip, but less pressure on the system. So Switch and Windows games can run better here. That doesn't mean that more RAM will magically make heavy games playable. It will just make the experience better for games already running. But that extra RAM and the dual screens do come at a higher price, and the Ayn Thor is clearly built for a very specific use case. The Retroid Pocket 6 is clearly the cheaper option, and for what it offers, it's actually really good value. You're getting that Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 performance at a good price, and for most people, the Thor starts higher, and if you go for the better versions, it gets even more expensive. So it really depends on what you care about more. If you just want a solid handheld for retro games, something easy to carry, easy to use, and comfortable to play, the Retroid Pocket 6 makes more sense. But if you want something a bit different, something that can handle heavier stuff better and also gives you that dual screen experience, then the Thor starts to feel more worth it, especially if you actually use that second screen. Playing DS or 3DS games on the Thor just feels right. No weird layouts, no switching screens. And even outside of that, having a second screen for guides or monitoring things is surprisingly useful. And for it, the Ayn Thor is the only good dual screen handheld for now.